And we are back and about to go into the money match here at Rivals Fight Night 3, our EU division. Defending champions Virtus.pro going to be taking on Luminosity, who just quite handedly were able to deal with 0%. Avast, you and I just got off the back of that series. A 3-0 in kind of incredibly fast fashion, something that we're not really used to over here at Rivals Fight Night.
Yeah, that's never happened before. We've never had a fast 3-0 in Rivals Fight Night ever. So, I mean, it was a very dominant game from LG. I mean, you saw it just in the fly-through there of all the level 1 crooks becoming a level 10 Mafia boss, perhaps, up on the high ground. I just think that, like, it is a very, very good game from LG. They showed a lot of flexibility, showing some comfort picks with the Venom, and also moving off of that and playing a lot of different comps across the board. Double shield, Groot, like, you name it. Anything on the table, and the more in particular for Naga. So, it felt fast, and it was fast, and the positive of that is we get to see Virtus.pro now. So I do think it's going to be a very exciting game coming up next, and with LG's performance there, hopefully we'll give them a great performance.
Well, obviously, we have a lot of people who are tuning in from various different things on various different platforms, and this might be the first time seeing Rivals Fight Night, as it's only the third one. Vast, would you like to give them the lowdown on the format, how everything works here?
Okay,
Puckett normally does this, so I'm shoving it on you instead.
Yeah, no, that's fine. I know you don't have to know this. It's fine. I'll be the guy to do it. So most importantly, like, obviously, if you want to watch the games, you have to subscribe. Otherwise, it's going to turn into a black screen. Kidding. You don't have to actually do that. But our actual format is it's BO5s or first to threes. So it's going to be loser pick. So after each map, which our first map will always be domination. So into our next map here for our money match of Virtus.pro versus Luminosity Gaming. It's going to be starting on a domination map, then loser pick. We can't repeat the map ever the rest of the series, but we can repeat the game mode. So they could play domination like 3 times if they wanted to, right? And that could just be the whole series, and then after that, they reset first to 3, it's over.
Yeah. Well, we're at the stage now where we're getting ready to either re-crown Virtus.pro or crown a new champion here at EU, as we do have Luminosity, but we also have another analyst standing by. We said goodbye to ZP, and I think we can go ahead and bring in Jake if he's ready to give his thoughts on this series. Jake, what were your takeaways from Luminosity to start, I suppose?
I mean, I think it's a great start to the day for them, but here at Fight Night, you know, you've got to go through that challenger match to get a shot here at the money match, to get a shot at the throne that Virtus.pro has claimed pretty dominantly in the last few weeks here in Europe. And as good as LG looked in that last series, I think that's pretty much the bare minimum when it comes to going up against a VP. Like, you need to be coming into that VP match feeling hot, feeling super confident, because VP is on, so far in Europe, a different level from everyone else. And so Luminosity, it's going to take, like, their best possible performance to really challenge Virtus.pro. And they look to be in that kind of form. So that's a hopeful sign for them. But I just got to emphasize how serious of a challenge this is. And, like, no matter how good Luminosity look in that last series, a different animal is coming at them here in the money match.
Well, just in case anybody has just recently tuned in, missed the opening series, it was a fairly quick one. Let's go ahead and take a look, another quick little hit on the roster here of Luminosity. And, you know, he just won MVP. We were highlighting them ad nauseum. The real ones to highlight, it felt like after that opening set was destroyed, and Naga here on this duelist lineup.
Yeah, this roster is it's very good, and Naga obviously been a highlight for them. We saw in the last match that they have a lot of flexibility, and hopefully we even get to see more Venom, because I think Venom has kind of, like, we see a lot of Venom, but not that much, especially with North America kind of prioritizing the thing. So it's always fun to watch this roster in particular, because they love putting Trust Me on Venom and having Naga rotate around, fight those flanks. So a very, very exciting roster, but just like Jake was saying, they're coming up against a monster. They're coming up against a monster roster for Virtus.pro.
Yeah, and I think they're going to need to have big games, especially on the duelists. I think it's also going to be a lot of pressure on the tank line. I think that's in particular where VP has looked indomitable, is Finzi and Nevix. They've kind of ran through a lot of the opposing tank lines that have gone up against them. So those Vanguards, I think, are going to be under massive pressure, not least from other Vanguards, but also Fi and Sparker, some of your best duelists in the game right now. I mean, VP is arguably best in class on every role, so this is going to be a tough one.
I mean, after the performance that we just saw from Naga, you think that, you know, just coming in, being able to play a very contentious series versus Virtus.pro, if not get the win, would he be able to potentially dethrone Sparker in your mind there, Jake, as the best duelist in the EU?
I mean, if they can get this win, that changes a lot for me right now. But I feel like the position, you know, VP is in, calling them the defending champion almost isn't enough. Like, they haven't really been challenged. They haven't really been tested yet. So for a squad like LG, I mean, it's kind of it's a tough spot to be, because honestly, if they can win a map or two, I'm gonna start feeling better about LG. It's a question of winning the series. For me, would be a shocker. For like, pretty much no one has beaten VP in a very long time here in EU Marvel Rivals. You know, across many different tournaments, many different iterations. This team is just winning everything, and when you see them play, you will see why. So I think fans tuning in who maybe haven't caught VP before, you're in for a treat. If you enjoy Rivals, you want to learn a little bit more about the game, this team always puts on a masterclass.
Looking at potentially the best of the best, looking to continue to reestablish themselves, reaffirm themselves, I suppose, as that. But for now, we're waiting for the map draft, waiting to see where we're heading. There it is. It's going to be Hell's Heaven to start things off on Domination. You know, across these last 2 weeks, I guess we should say here from Virtus.pro, have there been any noticeable weaknesses that you think are exploitable for Luminosity, or is it just too ironclad? Abbas, I'll go to you first on that question.
Listen, I mean, I think the biggest thing that's yet to be cracked from this team in particular is Winter Soldier. Sparkar and Winter Soldier has been extremely dominant, getting an incredible amount of resets. I mean, the kit for that hero is so incredibly strong. We saw in the last match, LG actually denied a lot of value for like Mukmana on Winter Soldier, and even Melio when they swapped to that. If there's a possibility there that they could maybe force VP off of Winter Soldier for a map, because they historically are almost never off of it. They're playing Winter Soldier almost 24/7. It opens up the opportunity that, like, okay, maybe there's something that could happen. There's a cracks that can show. I don't know if there's yet to be a single team that's even come close to forcing them off that pick.
Yeah, I'd say, I mean, my question for Luminosity is how they approach the Wolverine in this series. You know, when we saw them play in Rivals Fight Night #1, they lost in the Challenger match kind of because they just got destroyed by a Wolverine specialist. Now they've been banning it out, and that also, to be fair, worked for VP. But I'm curious to see whether either of these teams, like, I think they're less likely to ban Wolverine potentially against one another because neither team has historically used it that much. But Wolverine, for me, has looked like in this top level meta, like a key pick in the meta, since it kind of changes the game in a huge way compared to the conventional, you know, even your Nagas, your Winter Soldiers, your Nagas, your Namors, your Winter Soldiers, your Hellas. It's relatively straightforward, right? Like big poke DPS, but Wolverine is just a different game to be played, and it looks like it's going to go potentially unaddressed in those bans, at least in the first phase where it usually gets taken out.
Yeah, I mean, with
not being targeted at all.
I think it's pretty interesting because a lot of teams in North America and even in EU have used Thing as almost a counter at times to Wolverine. So they might be prepared to just, like, if we have a Thing, we can get the damage mitigation. We have the Yancey Sweet charge to deny, to do the immobilization, so Wolverine can't leave after, like, you know, have some, so the leap comes up. So I do think there's some options there where even if Wolverine makes it through, like, Virtus.pro feels really confident. And Winter Soldier, if you effectively peel, can deny Wolverine value. It looks like LG gonna say we're not gonna do a third ban. We're gonna say or a second ban. We're just gonna leave it as is, protect the group, protect the invisible woman. So does Virtus.pro want to remove anything else from the field? And it's gonna be the Wolverine. So they're like, yeah, we're just not gonna deal with it.
I mean, they've been the best poke team, right? Like, VP has looked insane. They don't even that often play stuff like the Thing or Venom. I think more often they play like a Groot Strange or a Groot Magneto, and they just play for, like, really just believing that they're going to be the stronger aimers, the stronger mechanical players. They don't want to deal with the chaos that, you know, the Dive Vanguards or Wolverine introduced to the game, which I think makes sense if you're an extremely confident team. You're like, look, come duel me in the FPS. Let's see who's got those hands. And I mean, the last many matches we've seen them, it has been Virtus.pro.
All right, well, another interesting decision this time from Luminosity to not go for a second ban, so leaving things a little bit more open. We saw 0% do that against them. Didn't go their way. We'll see if it's going to be a similar story of that added little bit of availability as far as the heroes are concerned are going to play to Luminosity's favor. Either way, odds are stacked against them as we get ready to jump into Hell's Heaven. Jake, thank you for joining us. We'll see you on the back end of this Domination map. The Vast, we'll take a look and see what we do have prepared. Luminosity eyes very much are going to be on them because Virtus.pro, as we've been talking about, a bit more of a known quantity. Luminosity, can they break down the barriers?
3, 2,
No Winter Soldier ban, because I mean, I feel like with LG saving a ban, there's like, if anything, like, get rid of the Winter Soldier, but I mean, it doesn't even matter anyways, because I guess Virtus.pro
no Winter Soldier
now. No Winter Soldier, which, to be fair, this map, if there's any point here, which is the Super Soldier Factory in general, is this point. Actually, this isn't Super Soldier Factory. This is the other point name. I forgot the name of it at the time. But pretty much the point here is that it's actually pretty good to control the high ground, right? And so Namor is a bit better at fighting for that high ground because you are going to be able to use the bubble. You can also fight really effectively with the flanks. Well, Destroyed has been hit by 3 different pieces of damage at once and falls over. And now LG got to back.
Absolutely destroyed. Yeah, just going to get picked apart there off the rip, and that's going to be a very nice early cap at the side of Virtus.pro, starting things off hot. Clearly, even though, you know, they've been sitting back watching Luminosity, maybe coming into this a little bit colder, they're still fired up.
It's the Eldritch Monument, by the way. That's the name of this point. It's Eldritch Monument. Just remember that. Keep that in your brain. Because of the big monument in the center. It's Destroyed now, making it back. Virtus.pro with the first cap. And you notice here, again, something that we point out a lot, especially at the high level, is how are teams fighting for flanks? As you see that there's just going to be Naga just like trying to fight, trying to push. Having to use the cooldown really that plus the deep going to back on up.
He's still very low.
All the pressure.
Yeah, a little bit more healing does come through. Naga going to be kept alive here for the time being. Does have a slight little lead on Sparker towards that horn. As he's joined by Rajaro, just trying to push up around the flanks here, but still, Contest on the point itself, not quite coming through just yet from the side of Luminosity. So Virtus.pro continue to be moving forward. As Trust Me going to be taken down. Finzi just able to come away with that one. Rajaro now at risk as it's Naga once again down to 38. The chase coming in as he goes up and over the top. Some heals here from the Luna Snow just to try to keep him sustained as they backpedal. Destroyed will be able to find one as Fi is going to be taken down, but still Luminosity shoved so far away from this point as Virtus.pro now crest past 60%.
And the old banks here too. I mean, there's going to be 5-6 ults for both teams coming up very soon. 70% of the crest for Virtus.pro. I mean, they're just, and you see the setup here too. You have the walls, so they can navigate to the high ground, up and down with Nemex's walls there. Just anchoring the point is now LG trying to make the move, trying to make some space. They're going to be watching for the flanks as well, someone to win. But Destroyed already down, but going to trade with 5, so there's still a chance.
Ooh, Rajaro narrowly escaping over into the field from Crook to try to keep him alive. Trust Me once again getting taken low, getting taken down. Finzi finding that elimination before the prison can really come into play at all. 6 ultimates available here for the side of Virtus.pro. 10% remaining. Final fight. Luminosity still down 2 players as Rajaro.
Are any ults going to be used to kill us?
I don't know. Where's Rajaro at? Man is just almost dead somewhere off screen.
There's about to be 6 ults for both teams. No ults.
No ults. It's an ultless round, and it's 100-0. Virtus.pro continue to pull things off that I didn't think we could ever witness. Also, it was Frozen Airfield. Eldritch Monument's the next
Frozen
round.
Airfield. Eldritch Monument's the next one. Okay, right. You know what? My bad. I thought that was the monument. Of course, that's the airfield. Of course, it has to be the airfield. You see all the planes? I mean, of course, that just has to be the airfield. You know, how could we forget?
I am the last person who should try to call you out on that. But what a bizarre start to this one. As we've got 28 seconds, I kind of want to get a chime in from Jake if he's on standby. Jake, do you have any thoughts on what we just witnessed?
I mean, you could save ults through the rounds of domination in Marvel Rivals, but you didn't force anything out of VP. And I mean, right now, I just see like the frontline gap is pretty ridiculous. Finzi and Nevix are just, you know, gang for right now.
Look at the UI.
Disgusting.
Look at this.
There's so many lightning bolts. But look at that, Nevix top damage. I think Nevix Groot is just such a great cam to be on because it shows how VP always has the early advantage in these fights. Positionally, they're just outplaying Luminosity in the Vanguards.
Okay, well, here we go. We're about to have just 12 ultimates available across both teams. I think that it's probably worth saying if you have any photosensitivity issues, you might want to look away here soon because I think things are going to get crazy. As the neutral fighting can begin. Nevix going to be eating a little bit of damage here. Some split attention on that high ground coming through, just trying to whittle away at the Groot is, and Trust Me, getting juggled nearly out of position, but is able to reconnect in with the rest of the team.
And Jake made such a good point there when we brought him in there too, is about this Vanguard positioning from Nevix and from Finzi. They kept that pressure very early onto Trust Me, just making sure that they had to commit something very early to just try to, there's a strength lead prison. Can they bring anyone through with the Hornet Proteus? The answer is yes.
Yeah, they absolutely can. They also had some additional damage there. A Spy was taken to the skies that got us to death, just raining down from above. So that in conjunction with the root, with the horn, and the kills start flying. Fi able to find one there on the back end. A little stagger on us, Destroyed. Luminosity time to reset and go again. Just the Fate used there from Fate, as they still have 5 ultimates to try to utilize here to gain control of this point. Luminosity going to be looking for their first percentages so far here on Hell's Heaven.
And that's the win condition right now, is that they didn't use a lot of ults. They used less ults in Virtus.pro. However, they don't know. They don't know that there is a Fi behind them. They're not a spy, but a Fi. Oh, they figured it out, actually. It's Destroyed.
Okay,
they're down 1, and they do have the ult advantage here, so this is their moment. This is their time to just make some space, try to make something happen.
Gonna be looking for the combo here in all likelihood off the back of Trust Me and Naga. Looking for the setup. Analysis Destroyed. Up into the skies, got his death, gonna be coming through. The Bulls out there from Tridro to try to keep everybody alive. Horn gets used. Value not gonna be found quite just yet. And Five's gonna be coming back here on a Spider-Man.
Now that is pretty interesting.
Yeah, can dive in on top of him. We'll have to see how this one does fare for him, but it's not something that we've been seeing too frequently outside of last-ditch touch efforts for the most part, but we'll see how it does fare as the fight goes on. Rojaro, Meteor M going to be lobbed down. Kill not quite going to be found, but it looks like maybe some setup damage there as Fate's able to play off the back of it. Dridro going to be eliminated. Fly going to be taken down as well as Fate finding one. So far, just Nevix killing away one. Kill is destroyed. Did get picked off, but Luminosity still in a decent position to try to turn the tides of this one as Fate has the sustainability, keeping them all alive, and Nevix comes away with 2 kills. I guess just finding them not in on top of that Lunaso ultimate. Able to pick them off and keeps Virtus.pro still in control. Look, being threatened here, Luminosity trying to desperately gain control here for themselves, but Sparker coming away with 2. Trust Me getting taken down, Fate falling, and it looks like it might just be a repeat of the first round. They get so damn close here to Luminosity, but Virtus.pro are just absolutely entrenched.
And they have no ult bank. I mean, Fi's just gonna go for a little bit of contest early, gonna be taken down by Naga, but can they even touch? They built the walls. I don't know if anyone can make it in time. It's gonna be a mad dash. No, it's just not gonna happen. No one's gonna touch. I mean, that's round, that's map.
That's just a 2-0 here as Virtus.pro clearly nonplussed by what they witnessed from Luminosity in the opening series versus 0%. They come in with a game plan, and they give us some of the most dominant, yet also most bizarre rivals that we have seen pretty much anywhere, but especially here on Fight Night. The ultless round into just a solid, still steady.
I mean, just look at the.
I mean, you look at the kills. Yeah, it's just such a one-sided affair, and Nevix is just racking up accolades.
And he did. I mean, Jake had talked about it earlier, and the positioning for the Vanguard, just like they're hitting every shot. They're like essentially fat duelists. They're hitting every shot. They're doing so much damage. It's incredible.
All right, that's a classic Spider-Man stat line. I just gotta call this one out.
But he came back. But
one of these is not like the others, man.
There was no reason for. The thing is, the Spider-Man is even more troll in this situation because like they're playing into a Luna Snow Namor, the team up that's so brutal for a Spider-Man, comes back to touch and does nothing. Nobody did nothing the rest of the round. He didn't even do anything.
All Fi needed to do was basically be the portrait of Dorian Gray for the team. He took all of the deaths while the rest of the team was staying young, staying healthy, and not dying, and it ended up working. And he still goes positive despite having all of the deaths on the team except for one on Dridro. This is just a bit of a shocking showing, I think, here for VP, which is surprising to say, given that they have already been so dominant.
I mean, even just watching, for me, like when I'm watching these Vanguard lines, I'm just feeling like this is like so challenging for Luminosity because VP are just outplaying them with these group walls. Like I saw Luminosity, they're trying to walk up. They're like group walling the spam to walk up on the point. Like they're not catching people with the walls. They're not able to generate an advantage on the walls. They're just like coming into the engagement with them. The amount of times VP is coming back down one player is absurd. Like there's so many of those fights where Luminosity, they get the opening pick, right? They find that value from the duelist on an individual level, and they just can't close out. They can't continue to pressure. And that speaks to the depth on VP. It's not just Fi and Sparker, who are the tip of the spear and often just winning fights by getting those initiation picks themselves. It's that these Vanguards are just unbreakable, and the strategists behind them are doing a fantastic job never being caught, right? Like being impossible to catch. So yeah, Fi goes down a few times there, taking some risks on the Hela, but comes back fast on the Spider-Man. And I think, I mean, as much as we can criticize the Spider-Man pick, honestly, I think it makes sense there. Like you have so much confidence in your team clutching. You don't need to come back on like the best possible hero. You just need to like get in and take a little bit of aggro, be a little bit annoying. And like you're getting, the enemy team's getting overwhelmed by your Vanguards anyway. There's something to be said for just getting back in the fight fast and having the flex on the Spider-Man.
Yeah, I mean, they showed it there. Luminosity unable to widely win out the fights when they were full focus forward. When you have that Spider-Man on the flank and it's got heads turning to the side, it just makes it all the easier for the rest of the team to clutch up. So I'm just gorgeously done from Virtus.pro. I mean, if you're Luminosity, where do you try to go from here? You know, I think the domination widely something that you maybe want to avoid. But I'm curious, you know, what map they have up their sleeve here. I've asked any thoughts on that.
I mean, realistically, there's not a lot of maps you can take Virtus.pro to be like, oh, this will be really good. Like, this will be great. I mean, I think there's maps where maybe if they try to play a little bit more Venom potentially and try to force that out, especially if maybe you can get rid of like Winter Soldier, get rid of Adam Warlock so you prevent like the triple strategist into the dive. I would love to see LG maybe lean into like their strengths of let's play some Venom comps. Let's say like maps like Shin Shibuya. Venom's pretty strong there. That's something that they've seen success on even previously in the last map, the match they just played. So maybe something like that. But I'm sure Jake, you can agree there. I don't think there's really a map to take Virtus.pro to that's like, oh, this is the map, you know.
I think they need to ban Groot, man. Just watching Nevix turbo gap them, I'm like, you guys aren't gonna win against this. Like, he's outplaying you so hard. I mean, that's a huge part of the reason. Like, if you're getting opening picks on duelists, then clearly like that, you are having the windows where you should be converting those into fight wins. You should be capping the objective. The fact that they're never doing that, I think, speaks to how strong Nevix is on the Groot. And I think Burn T'Challa makes sense here as a pick. It's a way to like really change that. I think it is like a relatively weaker group map, but nonetheless, with just how good Nevix is, I feel like you need to start respect banning the Groot. The gap is a little bit too big there, and yeah, maybe the Venom can come out there. Maybe like a Venom Magneto, a little bit more of a dynamic, chaotic playstyle could put VP on the back foot. But I just feel like this VP team, we've still only scratched the surface. No one has pushed them to show what else they have in the tank. But watching them play, you've got to believe this is only the first level. Like you haven't even enraged the final boss yet. You're dying on the first phase over and over again. And so far, I mean, we're still waiting for that against VP from any team here in Europe.
2000%.
We'll burn into T'Challa. Sorry, you go ahead.
I was just gonna say that even on the point of the Groot, like even this map, there's still like a couple points. I think it's Warrior Falls, which is the one that's like in the open, and you have like the pretty much the environmental hazard. Groot's still pretty good there. So like they're not even gonna be free of the Groot menace, even if they choose to maybe take him to a less strong Groot mid. But I do like the idea of potentially banning the Groot, potentially banning like a triple strategist, and then forcing like Venom. But Venom really on this map is not that particularly strong, so I doubt they're gonna try to go for it. So it just kind of depends on like what they're interested in. But I do think the Groot ban is a potentially very good idea.
And we need to see it off the rip here, so we'll see if they lock it in, and it's gonna be Loki.
They go. I mean, the Loki is also super annoying. I think it's important to remember how good the strategists on VP are. We don't highlight them that much because, well, the team is just like dominating most of these team fights, so the stability that the strategists bring is less emphasized. But I think having like a super elite Loki makes these games so incredibly difficult. Like the immortality rune is dealing with a lot of your valuable combos, and those double strategists with the copy are a little bit ridiculous. The protect on the invisible woman, pretty interesting. I guess with two strategists already banned out, VP wants to ensure that, you know, they've got like a core strategist that they're very comfortable on here in this map.
Yeah, that would be my guess there, especially because with Adam Warlock being gone, that means you're likely not going to be seeing like any Mantis. You could still see Star-Lord, but you won't be. Yeah, I mean, so Star-Lord will still be picked. You just won't see the team up.
I don't like this, honestly. I feel Star-Lord without the team up, I mean, it's not bad. It's like it is still strong, but I just feel it's a little underwhelming without the team up, especially with think about the duelists that are unbanned right now. You got Hela, Winter Soldier, Namor, Wolverine. I mean, this is maybe not the best Wolverine map, but okay, Namor is going to be banned out. I mean, this is like Luminosity's doubling down on this dive concept, and I think VP knew that. They knew that would be Luminosity's direction, so I think the Adam Warlock ban is actually pretty well targeted, since I think it's probably one of the better dive-oriented strategists with all the damage output it brings and the focus on being aggressive.
I think if VP banned Venom right now, I don't know, LG is going to be such a problem, because okay, they're going to ban Groot.
Oh, this is wild to me.
That's very interesting, because like to me, I see this and I see, okay, no Adam Warlock means you won't have the ability to keep your backline alive through like, or at least not easily, because you don't have the soul bond, you don't have the live stream to keep, like, you don't have Namor to deal with extra, you don't have a Loki as well, which like you talked about is really, really strong. Like, I don't know, I just felt like maybe there's gonna be, but with the group ban, I'm not quite sure what the reasoning for that is here, honestly, especially when you see last map.
I'm just excited. I want to see what else Nevix has in the tank. I also don't get this ban right. I thought Luminosity would need to respect ban with what Nevix just did to them on the last map. They got completely worked over in the group matchup. However, like regardless of the strategy, I'm just excited because I want to see more depth from this VP team. I want them to show us all the strategies that they can bring to bear, because honestly, they're the best team in the Europe, maybe the best team in the world right now. I think this is a team that probably is really hungering for an international land to be able to prove that. But now we get to see a different look for them. As it seems to be the Thing and Magneto. Nevix has always impressed me on every Vanguard I've seen, so I'm excited to watch the Thing gameplay.
All right, excited as well. Thank you, Jake. You mentioned an international LAN. Maybe one day we can have that happen here at Rivals Fight Night, and the only way to make that happen is with your continued support. So make sure you're subscribing to all of the channels. Thank you to Hanny Extra. I'm trying to do Puckett Shop at the same time for the subs. here on Twitch, as well as the people co-streaming. I see Shrouds out there amongst some others, so cheers to you all.
The $20 million lands incoming.
But look at this, Destroyed coming out with the Black Widow, a man after my own heart.
Like, so this is, I expected LG to be playing them, and okay, Destroyed has been destroyed. And then you're going to see here immediate aggression coming in from Nevix, from Fi, and then on the Star-Lord. And it's cutesy. It's very cutesy, trying to get some opening picks. I think Venom is great for this particular point. Particularly, you have so much room to move around. But I mean, the Star-Lord and the Hela is going to make that very tough. You're going to get so much pressure. And it's Destroyed already making the swap. I mean, they're not even going to bother anymore. Like, okay, that's enough.
We'll just be matching in that regard, but I mean, he just respawns his elements instantly dealt with. Where was Sparker at? He had to have put him basically right in front of the spotter doors.
Oh no!
It seems like is the rest of the team as they just continue to push forward. Naga able to find 1-5, going to be taken down, continuing to be maybe the sacrificial lamb here for Virtus.pro, but then gets traded out as Sparker continues to absolutely dominate. I mean, you can just hear those dinks flying here as he's just 21% away from having that ult-on line.
And you see here with the Invisible Woman, what's so crucial, I think in particular for this map, is great find there from the little crook there, just using the damage boost, the self-damage boost to find Fi. So they managed to rotate around, make it to the point here. But having the Invisible Woman from Saipai just means that Sparker can take really aggressive angles with the Guardian Shield, right? As trust me, looking to find something, just force anything here in the backline. But I mean, a Venom into a shield is just a sad time.
Yeah, into a shield, into a, some supports that are nearby. Sparker going to be going to the skies there with that Goddess of Death moments before getting picked up. You can see the HP, how low it was. As Crook is going to be popping the ult to try to keep everybody alive, but Naga off on the flank. A pixel spotted out of place, and Sparker able to collect. Naga going to be taken down there. As Virtus.pro able to maintain control of the point, maintain the dominance now. 70% getting ready to be here in their sights. Fate pumping the ultimate here. Match by Tridger on the opposite side. Fate's extended a little bit longer, but Sparker is just absolutely dunking on him. Crook going to be taken down, destroyed, dead as well. Sparker finding the 2K as Rajaro. I mean, the Meteor M, I'm not sure where it went. It didn't help. It didn't find a kill. Because Sparker's just destroying them all.
Got thrown at the back line. I mean, used in retaliation, try to absorb some of the damage there from Fi, but it just wasn't enough as Naga getting the bubble, coming on in, but trust me, already down, trying to make space. I mean, look at the hiding. Look at all this. They have the bubbles too. They have a lot of sustain. There's so much sustain. They're using the stellar shifts late as well to survive. No one goes down to the Galactic Legend, even with Naga right above him. Perfect cooldown usage from Virtus.pro.
Looking for a perfect closeout once again. Sparker with the finding the fadeaway shot there onto Naga. It's destroyed, desperately just sending out the ultimate, but this time nothing to be found. Everything kitchen sink used by Luminosity, but they're not going to be able to get a percentage gain here. Stellar Spaceport is going to go the way of VP. Warrior Falls now needing to be the turning point if Luminosity wants to start getting their first vestiges, their first taste of some of these objectives.
Mr. Achilleos, I am not feeling so good right now for LG. I'm not feeling so good. They were just a masterclass. I love that they're trying to pull out the Venom. It's something I think like maybe that's going to work for them. You know, there's no triple strategist, so it's a little bit harder to keep your backline alive since you want to be Adam Warlock. But right now, just didn't get the value they needed. Maybe got a little too cheeky with the first fight. And you know, the tough part about domination is losing that first fight is always hard because you're down to the ult percentage, you're down to the total cap percentage. So maybe just trying to get a little too cutesy with it potentially. As you know, roll on here to the second round, and is that surely no. Never trust the spawns. Like if I want to see, I mean, they were gonna have the team up potentially with Penny Parker, Venom, but yeah, they weren't gonna keep that.
Oh, they're sticking with the Psylocke though.
Yeah, so Psylocke stays up, which means that there is going to be a lot of, I mean, this is a map where there's a lot of ground you can cover. So being a visibility, you can cover ground really quick. You can pressure the back line a lot. You can also get to the high ground pretty easily because you can destroy the pillars so you can walk on up. You have the jump pad. So Psylocke's like, I say, disadvantages a little bit mitigated here, and you can kind of hunt for some of the squishies a bit more.
Okay, well, destroyed, continuing. I think out of all 3 rounds of domination we've seen so far, the first kill, the first death, I should say, for Luminosity ends up getting taken down once again as Naga similarly going to suffer the same fate as Fi, coming away with the elimination. Crook just trying to layer in some damage here and keep Rajaro alive here as they backpedal, but well, looks like they still want to stick around, still want to try to turn the tides of this fight here as Fate pops the ultimate, sending it through. Trust me, building it up here, looking for the drop down, looking for a decent position perhaps, but Legendary Ghost Spy just whittling away at them. Crook going to be taken down, Finzy finding one, and now, oh, the ult is still going to be committed here from Trust Me, despite the fact that they lose out on So their strategist, Richaro's in the back end, so maybe a bit of a miscommunication. Either way, a bit of an overstep. Vi finds the punish off the back of that one as soon as the ult expires, just grinding through the shields, and Virtus.pro are once again in control.
Despite that ult being used pretty late, I mean, best possible scenario did force Dredro to, feel pressure to drop the Fate of Both Worlds, so no Luna ult available here for VP as they're going to hold aggressively. And, going back to Jake's point that we've talked about is Finzi on the Magneto and Nevix just making almost an infinite amount of space and doing so much damage at the same time, because both the Thing and Magneto also do an incredible amount of damage. As LG gonna be trying the Dance of the Butterfly, trying to find one. They do find one. They might find more.
Key target, Sparker gonna be taken down, looking for a little bit more on the back end. Dredro gonna be taken down to about half HP, seeking some sustain, but will not be able to find it. As Destroyed pops the ultimate. Galactic Legend able to go ahead and start whittling away at these remaining HP bars. Looks for a little bit more, and with Finzi taken down, that should be Luminosity being able to finally get the first taste here of some percentage gain on a point. Nevix sticking around, eating some heals, popping the shield, but Widely will have to make their exit. So Luminosity looking for the flip recontest. However, getting ready to come back in. They're right back in onto the point. Freeze there, on is destroyed. Taken so very low. Tucks back around the backside of the point. The pillar does end up staying alive as Dredro will fall. Finzi, however, is right back into the mix, and like you say, they did not gain control. They are still not yet in the driver's seat whatsoever. Now Naga going to be taken down. They managed to find one to trade there on to Fi, who oversteps a bit with that aggression, but it's 75% built up.
I mean, they're going to have to touch. I mean, Finzi here with a swap to Doctor Strange just to get back even faster. And I'm seeing more and more the value of protecting the Invisible Woman here for Saipe, because you had the team up with Nevix. Nevix just gets to stay alive forever on the point of this thing. They have that team up value, give him the bonus health, give him the regen. See the aggression here, and trust me, onto the back line, trying to make some space. They do have the ult available to get it back. Gonna pop it, get a lot of value there, but they need something else.
Yeah, they're looking for Sparker, could not quite take him down. Trust me, on the exit, getting back over towards the point. 98% now built up here for the side of Virtus.pro. They are looking for back-to-back perfect maps of domination, running for no percentage gain. The ult going to be rolling, but not in that one. Does end up getting taken down. Visible Woman will be felled. Sparker takes to the skies. It got it to death now in play. Down some damage, looking for some eliminations, but Widely, everybody from Luminosity staying healthy here for the time being. Dredro 5 both going to be taken down as Destroyed pops the ultimate, and this time it seems like surely Luminosity will be able to gain control. They've finally done it. They're in the driver's seat, but it's 99% built up here for Virtus.pro.
I mean, just a Herculean task. I mean, just actually Herculean, just fighting for all their might for all that for a drop of blood, and they've done it. They finally got the cap. Had to commit a lot. They're playing very aggressively here, trying to look for, just deny the injury, maybe find a pick up on the high ground. They're closing in on a couple more ults potentially, but I mean, VP's bank not looking super healthy either. So we're going to be seeing a lot of poking, a lot of just neutral fighting. Is what's so important right now is who wins the high ground fight. As you see, flanks coming up. There's the dive.
And it's going to be Noggin taken down. It's Fi able to find one. It's Destroyed, similarly taking quite a bit of damage, as is Trust Me, backpedaling here, dropping down. For a little bit of healing before the re-aggression, just riding the walls, then going in for the jump. Just get pushed away, 12 HP remaining, tucks back, breaks line of sight, and does get chased down. Sparker able to pursue deep enough to be able to pick off the enemy Venom. The flip now in overtime, starting to bleed away. Body going to be traded out, 1-for-1 thus far as the respawns get ready to rejoin. But Crook is going to be taken down. Sparker continues to just be an absolute thorn in their side. With Fate falling, it looks like that'll just be the end here of the map. Brennan T'Challa, the pick of Luminosity, not going to be delivering a win. They do get their first little steps forward, but ultimately Virtus.pro is just a couple steps ahead. So 2-0 now as they take this to match point, and they look for another dominant showing here in the money match. $1,000, just one map away from the pockets of VP once again.
Invisible Woman. I mean, Jake's here, and I'm sure we can discuss it more, but like the more and more as that map went on, the Invisible Woman protect for Saipe just made so much sense. Nevix was unkillable on the thing because of the team up, and anytime, trust me, try to make any sort of engages or just any of the duelists in general, force push, just guaranteeing picks, disengaging entirely. I mean, the Saipe, and also just giving the Guardian shields as well to Sparker, who let Sparker on the hell up peak so aggressively using the shield, which not only protects you from damage, but also heals you at the same time, and you can put them anywhere instantaneously around the map. So that Invisible Woman pick, that protect, made a lot of sense as the map went on. And Jake, I mean, was there any difference there? I mean, they played the Venom, but like, I mean, realistically, Virtus.pro just look invincible.
Yeah, I mean, this is like, it was fun to see another look at a VP, right? Like they've won so much with that Groot setup and playing like the more front to back poking style that okay, yeah, it's like going to be super dominant. Now they just show us something very different, something much more mobile, something much more active and aggressive. But it just strikes me how many times that VP is like there's that one fight at the end of that second round where, Luminosity get like 3 pickoffs and you're like, surely they're going to win a fight, but they're so good when they're even down numbers and the fight looks impossible at like just scratching back any kind of little mistake you make. They will find a pick. And then as soon as you see that like one person gets into the feed, Sparker finds a pick back on Hella, it's like, they're going to lose, man. Like you already feel like the VP is just inevitable, even though they're down numbers, like mathematically things are really against them. That's what's so impressive to me about this VP team. Yes, they're getting ahead most of the time and just snowballing it, but when they fall behind, they still feel like they're just a wounded animal. They're going to strike back twice as hard.
Yeah, just brutality here. And I mean, I think that this is going to leave Luminosity reeling, scratching their heads. I mean, we're talking about it. Yeah, they're coming in a little bit hot off the back of that victory versus 0%. Seemed like maybe with those warm-ups, it was going to be doing them some favors, but Virtus.pro, they just are a different beast, it would seem here. So a reverse sweep is what would be needed for Luminosity to dethrone this team. Something that, Jake, as you're already saying, seems very unlikely given what we've seen. Now, I mean, I think this goes beyond Herculean tasks. I think you would have to combine every single Greek legend together into one to be able to really paint an accurate picture for what we would be witnessing. But
cut the check to VP, guys. I've seen enough. Get the bank account info.
Maybe let's move away from domination, because it's just not looking.
They're just making
great.
it worse on themselves, or better.
Play
perhaps
the Black Widow. I'm like, this is so creative. This is so. Oh, he's dead.
It's so hard, and then you just see. I mean, like, you pointed
like
them out, Jake,
like,
too.
oh.
I mean, look at the Vanguards. Look at how much damage Finzi is doing. The isolation, like you pointed out, and that's like one of the benefits I think that Virtus.pro has, is besides their overall coordination, the power on every role they have, is that their Vanguards just do more damage than everyone else. They live longer. They get more limbs. They do everything. I mean, that solo contest you were bringing up of like, oh, they have one person on point. It was Nevix on the thing with the Invisible Woman team up. It just never able to die. Just literally never able to ruin their point. It's so hard to deal with them.
I mean, I think games like Rivals, right? There's just this exponential effect when you have a team like Virtus.pro, where it's like the duelists are best in class, the Vanguard's best in class, the strategist best in class, and then you combine all that together. That's the only way you're going to be getting these like constant 100-0 obliterations on these maps, is that you're just winning on every front. So even when, of course, like, even if you have a really amazing duelist, they're going to take some risks. They're going to get shut down eventually. And even when that happens, the depth on VP is just so extreme. The strategy is so well executed and well thought out here that, I mean, honestly, I think every other team in Europe and maybe other teams across the pond in NA or Asia really should be looking at Virtus.pro and just thinking like, how can we just copy what they're doing? Can we just do what they do as like a starting point to being the beginning of beating them? I don't think this is a team you're going to outstrat. I think this is a team that you just need to study really what they're doing, because they're on a different level. They're putting on a class here for Luminosity, and honestly, it's pretty clear LG are in a tough spot here in this BO5.
You need to clone them. You need to, just steal their DNA, clone them like the Spartan program in Halo, and then just raise them as your own and just be like, yes, we will assemble the greatest Marvel Rivals team that the world has ever seen. It's going to be Royal Palace, potentially, for a third and final map here. And
domination, again, by the way. That's another domination map.
Triple domination. We talked about how we see it, how it's possible, how we can sometimes see it. Well, we're seeing it right now, and it might just be triple domination at the hands of Virtus.pro.
I mean, as bad as it is, that like the way the last two maps have gone, I think VP is even better on attack defend maps. Like, that's what's so terrifying here. I think there is a certain logic to this for Luminosity. They have shown that they really like to play the Venom. They like to play a dive strat. That's a little bit more comfortable for them, and I think that's a little bit more viable on domination in general. I mean, it's like maybe it was just like the Black Widow cheese on that one map. Okay, like it was like some theoretically you were believing in that, and then Sparker just showed like, guys, I'm on Hella. Like, respect me, please. No Widow in my lobby.
By the way, they said no. Get it out of here. No Invisible Woman for side bay. So they're already tired of this. So that's removed. It's gone. And with Adam Warlock being banned, I'm gonna say it. It didn't look out for them, but I think they might play Venom again. I think they're gonna play Venom again, and I think it's gonna happen.
I mean, moving into this one, for Virtus.pro, I mean, do you just protect the Groot again? Does it guarantee it for Nevix, who's just been insane? Okay, it's gonna be the thing instead. Where for Nevix, who has just been looking insane, so why not?
Which I think makes sense because, like, not only did you see in the last map Nevix anchoring point a lot, but because a thing does a lot of damage, like a lot of damage, especially with the stone haymakers where you cleave, so you can pressure the backline, and also typically with, I mean, they're not gonna have the team up though, but you're still also able to do counter dive because you can jump back, you can give the shields that damage reduction with the dive, it's the leap pretty much. So it's a pretty strong counter dive ability as well, and that's what they're gonna protect the Venom. So yeah, they're just like, okay, hopefully with no strategist counters, we're just gonna play Venom.
Yeah, maybe without the team up, you could think that the Venom could have a better chance in the matchup. They banned the Loki as well, not wanting to deal with that. So tons of strategist bans coming in. It's a pretty small strategist roster left remaining in the pool. See what VP wants to go with for their final ban here. But, you know, like we've seen in the other maps, I'm not sure how much it matters. The gap between these two teams is enormous right now. I'm just hoping that VP continue to put on a lesson. I think for a lot of the fans watching, this is just an opportunity to learn from the very best players in the world right now in Rivals. And it'll be 4 strategists banned. I mean, so you're really looking at what? Like, I mean, for sure, Luna.
Yeah.
And then
it'd be Luna. It's gonna be Luna and
Cloak
I mean,
and
at this point, Cloak and Dagger.
Jeff time? Is it Jeff?
No, it's not Jeff
out,
time.
baby.
It's not Jeff time. It's definitely not. Unless they're gonna do some Groot Jeff combo. I don't think we're gonna see Jeff. I mean, to be fair, I do think there's moments where, like, theoretically Jeff, especially because I think players have gotten a lot better at using his ult in particular. There's moments where Jeff could find value, but I just don't think this is going to ever be the time. And I like the Mantis ban in particular because, I mean, level 1 Crook on that was getting a lot of value. And if your strategist is able to hit shots, it is like having another duelist because of especially with the damage boost and having a sleep as well for the CC. So it's a very, very strong hero to take off the field.
I appreciate you humoring me with your hypotheticals, Avast there, but the likelihood of the Jeff going to be pretty much slim to none. But Jake, thank you as well. Let's go ahead and get into this. A third domination map for Luminosity to try to start turning the tides. Need a reverse sweep if they want to become the new EU champions here at Rivals Fight Night. Let's see what they got. As right now, I mean, the Luna Snows, you know, very much were expected, but it looks like both teams going to be coming out with the Rocket Raccoon. Oh my God!
That's a Jeff.
Oh my God!
That's a Jeff. We have backyard barnyard. We have the barnyard backline here. I mean, we have a Jeff. We have a Rocket Raccoon. I mean, it's the petting zoo. We've done it. We've activated it. It's beast mode time.
Okay, how does it look? He's into the back line. He's immediately destroyed the res field here.
They're using him as a TP. They're just gonna use him as a duelist. They're gonna use him as a duelist. Let him float around. Jeff does do a lot of damage, Achilles. So they're gonna have Jeff just float around, try to pressure their backline.
Incredibly squishy, so has to be limit testing incredibly well here. Does Fate, but I'm very curious to see how this plays out. For now, though, it's destroyed, dropping down off the high ground, layering in a bit of damage, but so far HP bar is pretty steady, and 5 will be able to find it. Fate gonna be taken down to Jeff. No, ends up getting eliminated. Destroyed himself, also taken low. Finzi for now the only one really tagged up on the side of EP, but trust me, getting taken down, that is going to be the fight victory, very firmly going the way of Virtus.pro as they maintain control of the point and move up past 20%.
I mean, this is desperation. This is desperation. If you've ever seen desperation before, this is your back's against the wall, and it's like, Jesse, it's time to cook. Like, we have to do anything possible. As Finzi peeking there aggressively, just stopping the rotation. Finally says destroyed his bait on point, looking to back cap and just immediately execute it.
Yeah, I mean, just get stabbed from behind. Fights just right there. And just comes away with the elimination. And I mean, given some of the accuracy that we've been seeing from Sparker, from Fi, playing the Jeff feels that much more sketchy, I suppose. 30%.
This is
still on the go before we can get
soldier.
the chomp ult though. So maybe you can see a couple people from VP getting spat off the side of the map. Maybe that'll be enough to get on the board.
And here's the real problem too, is that you see the engage come through, is like, even if they get that in time, as trust me, Days Live there with the ult, is that they have bubbles.
Frozen though.
Bubble the ult entirely.
Naga just going to be noted here, trying to escape, but Finzi pursues, finds that kill. Destroyed, going to be taken down as Finzi just absolutely wrecks the duelist lineup. And immediately, I mean, you have to go for a last-ditch reset here. It's going to be final.
They have Jeff ult. It's time. It's time, Nichilios. They have Jeff ult. Maybe they could do it. I mean, they're going to have several fast characters to make their way on back. Fate here on the high ground. Drijo just runs past them, and they just pass each other in the night. Is Fate, or is it going to go for the contest? It's going to be Fate looking for it. I mean, they're looking at him. They're shooting at my Jeff. My poor Jeff. They're making him run away.
They destroy the platform. They're keeping him zoned away. It's now going to be swapping over onto the Wolverine. The touch getting ready to come through. 97%. Dives in. Gets taken down. We're not going to see the ultimate. No. Fate is dead. Sparker comes away with the kill. Luminosity now needs to get entrenched. Meteor at the ready. Jar taking so much damage, but does manage to find that little bit of a fadeaway there on the 5. You're able to trade one back. Fate going to be sprinting back over to try to get the ult layered in. Finzi taking to the skies. His own Meteor now going to be sent out, but no value found off the back of that one. It is very possible. Fate, can he find the setup? What does he trigger? The answer is going to be right now. He's going for it. Does he find anybody here?
They're just run away. They just run away.
They just run away. Goes up. Okay, doesn't manage to find one.
They get touched because Jeff ult doesn't count as a contest. It doesn't count as a contest to Kilios because he's Jeff ulting, and so they don't touch. Where was the rest of them? I think also he swallowed one of his own teammates as well. I think he took 2 of his own teammates. So they just took them up and they didn't contest. Oh my Lord. I think. Oh no. Oh no. Disaster.
Oh, dearie me.
30 seconds.
I mean, that's just shenanigans.
Yeah.
And what's so crazy about this too is that just like on the other side, having
one a limb.
I mean, one a limb for the whole team. A whole just on Rajaro. I mean, Jeff Troll. I mean, that's just if this was a ranked game, do you know I'd be typing Jeff Troll in the chat like 100%.
The battle starts in 5, 4.
Oh boy. Well, all right. We'll shake off the previous round. Try to forget what happened and focus up here for what could very well be the final. As Virtus.pro just one sub-map away from closing things out. And it looks like Fate this time not even going to play around with it. Naga as well straight off the rip over onto the Wolverine.
Look at this. Groot, Saipe, and Nevix doing the team up, walking up into the high ground. Always fun. And immediately taking off the high ground, but that's fine because of the jump pad.
Shoves him back.
Yep, they're all good as they're going to be some initial fighting. Take that said, with Naga on the Wolverine, I mean, this is a pretty interesting pick. I mean, they do have the Wolverine, rather the Magneto Bubbles. Strength in Prison goes out very early, finds one.
Yeah, Nevix able to find that elimination. Trade out those. Both Raccoons going to be taken down. HP, though, a little bit lower on the side of Luminosity across the board. Naga will falls. Destroyed, able to find one, though. Sparker does get taken down, but they need a lot more eliminations if they want to try to get themselves back into this fight for a fast retake. But instead, it's just going to be a couple staggers here as Jaro desperately trying to escape. The walls come up and just looking to run him down. And juggle into the corner. Does meant to backpedal a little bit more. Instead, it's going to be Trust Me who ends up falling. Jaro does survive, but the cap is there. Virtus.pro once again in control.
See how aggressive that Virtus.pro is going to be playing here, just making sure to deny this entry, putting up the Groot walls, these Iron Lash walls as they come through. Just the passive does more damage. LG looking for an entry here. They are going to have about 4 ults. So stuff on the board here, and a lot of pressure onto Naga right now. Naga, they need to be trying to find, that capture, find that leap, to maybe find one, force the bubble at least. And so far, nothing.
Yeah, I mean, right now, just trying to scale back into some kind of position where you can begin to look at a retake here, begin to look at getting into those flanks and finding those picks. Naga does go diving forward, and immediately he's going to be met with death. The bubble's there for a brief little moment, but it gets melted right through, so Rajaro just not going to be enough to try to keep that Wolverine alive, and the ult gets nullified. It's destroyed. Does manage to find one. Pops the ultimate, got us a death now in play. Looking for a little bit more, though, but line of sight is not going to be too favorable here on the map. Finzi does get taken down, though, his Fate. Able to find one, ult invested, but Rez is there from Saipa. Brings Finzi right back into the mix, and it's going to be a Meteor M out from Rajaro. Looking for a target, a little bit of splash damage. Fight once again swapping over onto the Spider-Man for a fast rejoin. Does get taken out. Solid kill, but once again, Luminosity still not able to find this flip into their favor. Now Crook is going to be eliminated. It's 70% built up for Virtus.pro, just 30% away from closing out this series in 3-0 fashion, Avast.
I mean, they just can't dislodge him from the point. They can't get Nevix off the point. He's unkillable. He's like a mighty redwood. There's another Meteor M out, finds 2, and I mean, that might just be the fight. That might be the map.
That should basically be the death knell, it would seem. I mean, Nevix does fall, but look at the trades on the back end. The remainder of the team absolutely gets demolished. As you said it earlier, all this for a drop of blood, it would seem. Maybe a last little rally back if somebody can get the touch here, but it's 4% ticking up. And I just don't think it's going to happen. Even if they get there, they're just going to be met with a brick wall that is Virtus.pro. 3-0 fashion here in the series. Once again, Virtus.pro maintaining the throne. They are our champions here for Rivals Fight Night Week 3 EU.
Disgusting performance. I mean, just disgusting.
Another $1,000 in the bank.
You just beat someone so bad you force them to play Jeff. You know, you're just beating them so bad. Like, okay, let's try Jeff. And then chat coming up with a very funny line as well from that Jeff will happen. The C9, get it?
The like C9 spelled S-E-A.
C9 spelled S-E-A. So I mean, that is what happened, and it's. I mean, there's not much to say. Virtus.pro, they're the perfect being. I mean, you know, they're too strong across the board. They weren't challenged at all during the series, Jake. I don't know if you disagree, but I just don't feel like at any point were they taken to their limit.
I mean, this is full chaos from Luminosity, which honestly, I like them just like going YOLO and doing something wild, because it's pretty clear your plan A and plan B got just like cleaned up so easily on map 1 and map 2. But this is a Virtus.pro squad that honestly, I think it's going to take some time for any teams to catch up to them. I think there's few teams who are going to be happier about Intel supporting this broadcast than VP, who are just cashing checks week after week. And honestly, you got to put some respect on these players. They're the best Rivals team in Europe. And honestly, one of those teams you really got to look to like a global level of competition to wonder if there is a squad that can challenge them. Honestly, I wonder if they're not the best in the world right now.
It certainly looks that way. And I think that if you were to say like, okay, next week, boom, global LAN, we're inviting all of these teams, VP would have to be the front runner. You know, I'm still curious, and I'm still holding out some hope, given that I'm over here in Korea, that perhaps the takeover could happen in the future. But you never know. We'll have to wait and see. But for now, VP, they are the team to beat. We're going to show the highlights.
Is the highlight him killing the BRB?
That was the value that was found.
Big Jeff. I got the TP, guys. I got the res.
It's got res down. I mean, it feels bad. And realistically, credit to LG. And there's the C9 because it swallows several teammates. But credit to LG. I think they clearly tried to make things work in their style. They looked really, really good versus 0%. But like we've been saying, Virtus.pro are so incredibly strong. I mean, I would love to see them play 100 Thieves. I think that would be like the matchup is like Virtus.pro versus 100 Thieves currently. And currently, I would definitely take Virtus.pro. I still would. I think 100 Thieves look really, really good, but like Virtus.pro look insane across the board. And it always feels weird sometimes coming in here to EU for this, our third Rivals Fight Night, is that I'm like, okay, I can't wait to watch Virtus.pro. And then it's just been a speed run every time. And maybe, you know, we get that international LAN. If everyone keeps supporting, we keep getting the subs rolling, we can put our own $20 million international LAN for Rivals Fight Night. Of course, that's just the most important part, is that you know, we get the support. It could be us. It could be us.
It's surely the next step after what we've already established.
1 or 2 more Prime subs, and we're gonna be able to
1 or 2 more
$20 million LAN. Somebody donate $1 million Prime
$20 million prize pool. So get those subs in now. But let's take a look at our MVP. I think that this was a pretty concise decision across the board. I'll give a shout out, you know, for Sparker, because in his first 2 map performances, he's won it too much.
He's won it too much.
Nevix, but this was very much the day of Nevix. I said maybe if Sparker goes crazy in that third and final map, but Nevix the whole way throughout was just indomitable, untouchable, immovable, whatever other synonyms my brain can't come up with because I'm still very tired. The group, the thing, they were all just fantastic from him today.
Yeah, he's got the versatility on the Vanguard that I think is really enviable for a lot of teams, but also just the synergy with the rest of the squad, right? The Vanguards form really the core of your strategy in Rivals, especially someone with less mobility like a Groot. It takes a really strong player to always be in the right spot, never getting caught out, especially we see often Groot can struggle in the Wolverine matchup. I think that's a real test of your strength on Groot. But Nevix, I think, had a really great read of like never over pushing the limit, being just so dominant, and like when it's a group mirror, he's always creating an advantage. Like it feels like every single tank trade is going to go Virtus.pro's way with the help of somebody like Nevix.
100%. And I think for Nevix in particular, what you highlighted a lot of things like, oh, like Groot's not very mobile. Well, guess what? Nevix uses his walls to be extremely mobile. So a lot of those downsides when we see from people on the Vanguard is that Nevix, have we repeatedly called out, he mitigates all the downsides. He gets value when typically you're not seeing a lot of value in those parts of his kits. And I think it's very central to the pillar of the strategy for Virtus.pro is how strong the Vanguards play, including obviously Nevix for this series. And he looked really, really good. So MVP well earned.
Well earned indeed. I mean, it's another well earned, well deserved, dominant victory here for Virtus.pro. So maintain their position on the throne here as the kings of EU for now. Maybe next week could finally be the time that we see somebody really challenge them and take them to the limit. Seems unlikely though. But for all the people throughout the first two very fast, blazingly quick maps that were 3-0s that we're asking, when's NA? Did I miss it? Has it started yet? The answer is no. It's about to start pretty much right now. We're going to have another quick little break, and when we come back, we will be taking the plane back across the pond over to North America with Envy versus Sentinels to start things off, all for the chance to try to challenge up against 100 Thieves. We're going to go to a quick little break. Stay tuned. Rivals Fight Night 3 will continue with North America when we come back for the break, so do not go anywhere.